The recent explosion of aerodrome and velodrome in terms of TVL, growth, user growth, volume, asset price appreciation, I think it's high time to touch base on what XtraFi is doing. And of course, the first thing you would notice is that it followed the same pattern in terms of all of the metrics that I just proposed. And that's obvious because there's a high correlation since it's built on top of these platforms, all right? Very simple. In this video, we're gonna focus on the token specifically because the metrics will be reserved for another one. So let's see if there's room for growth and what is the potential here, right? Sorry to interrupt you there, folks. I just want to quickly chime in and mention that we are currently working on a project called Numerical. It's DeFi as a service, meaning you'll get exposed to real DeFi protocols that generate real revenue, aka real yield, and you're gonna get a cut of this without doing the setup yourself. All you have to do is enter, claim, or withdraw. Very simple. So your capital is available at all times to take, and you can choose the option where to invest. More details in the description and in our community chat, right? So, like I said, aerodrome and velodrome facilitated the way for XtraFi as a platform to move up in terms of TVL. I mean, if you look on the Llama, you can clearly see that the curve is going upwards and to the right. It's not stopping for now, but that's in dollar value, remember, not in ETH or whatever asset there is on XtraFi. But the idea is that as long as these platforms are rallying, are increasing in terms of all of the metrics, the same will happen with XtraFi as long as it follows suit in terms of development, in terms of engagement, in terms of actual yield opportunities. Now, from a price perspective, like I said, we're focusing on the token here. If you look at the price patterns of both Extra and Aero, wrong chart, so this is the one I'm looking at, because most of the liquidity is still on optimism, you can see the same pattern being painted out very clearly, right? So we were at about 5 cents so the upper ticker happened when Aero had a small boost in terms of price, and then Extra started to move upwards slowly to 5 cents, from some 2 cents to 5 cents. But then the real explosion happened here, right? So this is where the Extra token moved to 5 cents, but then it stayed down a bit. And then when Aero started exploding to the upside, it dragged Extra with it. So you see the pattern, right? So upside, stalemate, then explosion, and now a small consolidation. Same thing is happening here. And like I said, these two tokens are heavily correlated. So if I pull up, for example, the Velo chart, same thing, right? And that's completely normal. Now, let's touch base on the Extra tokenomics currently. So I have basically painted out a nice picture for you to see where we're standing. Now, the total supply here is irrelevant. It's 1 billion, but that's not what we're focusing on. Because out of that 1 billion, about 80%, 80-ish percent, it's still in wallets that are dedicated for future incentives. Not only from staking incentives, but also for exchanges, for competitions, for releases to VExtra stakers, etc., etc. So the current circulating supply of 196 mil has 50% of it either locked or burned. So the rest is in human handholders and of course the team. Now here's the cool part. The team is highly pushing towards burning more of the supply. So currently that stands at 5%, but they just started in Q3 of 2023. So as we move forward, as the protocol acquires more fees, more burning will occur. And they have released basically a proposal for a very aggressive burning schedule. When they release tokens to the public, to users, basically, all of the tokens that are unused will mainly be burned. The protocol fees will actually push people to stake their extra tokens to earn more, because previously they were lending out more in the lending pool. So they will decrease the lending pool extra emissions, but they will give that to the VExtra holders. And that is very good, and that's basically promoting the longevity of the Extra protocol and its underlying asset. Right now, if you want to take advantage of all of the platform's offerings, you have to acquire 10,000 extra tokens and lock them for 365 days or more in order to actually leverage 10,000 V extra. And then you can basically open up the highest leveraging positions, and you can actually do things that you can see on the chart right now. You can get a premium borrowing rate. You can actually propose government proposals. So there are quite a few things that you can do once you are at that level. And for me, regardless of governance, this is the most important part. So I can actually go the highest leverage metric possible on delta neutral pairs, because delta neutral pairs are the safest, between quotation mark, and will also earn me the most if I'm at that level. But remember, you're paying $1,600 right now to get there. And you have to understand that if you are a small fish, that's not worth it. So you have to basically see if that cost that you're willing to pay today will be offset relatively quickly. I mean, by quickly, it could be a month, two, depending on your timeline. But you don't want to end up losing money because of this. Now, surely the VExtra tokens are not sunk costs. You're going to recover them eventually. And my understanding is that the extra token will be somewhere at a better price action, a few weeks, few months, few years from now, as long as everything runs smoothly. But keep in mind that it's still a cost, right? So you want to make back that cost because those tokens are not liquid anymore. So if you want liquidity, you have to understand that, okay, I'm willing to pay 1.6K today because I am a big guy and because I'll be able to make that money in a relative short period of time. So that's something that you should keep in mind. So going back to the chart, and the question is, what's next for the extra token? It all depends on participation and the underlying platforms. The market cap is irrelevant, purely irrelevant, because at the end of the day, this is a DeFi utility token, and as long as there's value in holding it, then it can grow exponentially. So there's no real limit here. Of course, when people see a very high market cap, they will get afraid. That's normal. But at the end of the day, it's not really limited to a specific number, because many people can come in, grab these tokens, take them, and then you're gonna have so much of these tokens fully locked, and the rest, for example, would be also burned. And at the end of the day, you're left with a bit of supply in the LPs. Currently, there are 14 million tokens in the LPs, and that will make the price go up drastically. So the potential is there, because I personally don't look at the price of the token today, because I'm using those tokens to earn on my assets. So I don't care what the price is currently. I only care about having these tokens in a safe spot so I can leverage their capabilities. And the team is promising more utility to the VExtra holders in their revamped version of the XtraFi protocol called X. So it's coming up, so there will be more goodies for people who lock up their tokens. They have currently an optimism competition running. So for people who lend out their USDC and USDCE, they will earn OP. So I expect that there will be also VExtra competitions for people who have VExtra tokens locked up, so they will earn more on them, on top of the staking APR that is currently at 150%. So there's a lot of good stuff going on here, and because the platform is constantly improving, the utility token has amazing value capture, and like I said, the potential is there. So as long as you understand the risks and the potential in terms of earning capabilities and yield, then there's really no, at least foreseeable, ceiling in my personal opinion, because the value of the token itself matters less than the yield that you could get if you acquire those tokens. And you don't have to even pay for these tokens, right? So like I said, there are basically lending pools that would allow you to earn these tokens. Now, for example, on Optimism, because you have OP incentives, those extra lending capabilities have moved mainly to Base. But right now, for example, the ETH pool here, the second one, gives you about 3.86% in extra. So if you are somebody who is patient, who wants to play the long game, you can simply come to the lending pools, put on your ETH and USDC, earn those extra tokens, wait it up until you acquire 10,000. It will take a while, because remember, those tokens are not distributed based on their amount of tokens, but on their value. So a few months back, the value was significantly lower, so you would get more tokens, whilst today the value is higher, so you would get less tokens. So that's a contrast here. So the APR is not dependent on the amount of tokens distributed, it's solely dependent on your capital, how much you have staked in these lending pools. And yeah, I think I'm going to conclude here. I just wanted to give you a clear understanding of how the token stands today and what is it that it provides. Remember, you're not just buying a speculative asset, you need it. Okay, so there is a flywheel, there is value capture. So because of this, for me, things like market cap aren't really relevant in this case. And the price can literally go anywhere because it's in a price discovery mode. And if people find value in holding those tokens, locking them up, earning higher leverage on their positions, earning that staking APR and potential future incentives, voting, etc., then they will keep doing so. And the TVL will grow subsequently. We do have a nice community chat on Telegram. You can join us. Link will be below. Lots of cool people. You will enjoy yourself. And with that, see you in the next one. Have a good one.